Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each to an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you some SEC and Congress updates for MMTLP. We're also going to be looking at some breaking news for MMAT Metamaterials and also having a quick look at the earnings for NKE Nike, which we also called out in the weekly watch list this week. So before we get started, let's have a look at the headline in terms of the market. So first headline here from Yahoo Finance: the Nasdaq rises but stocks give up gains to close out a brutal month. So let's have a look at this overall summary for September. So if we have a look at the S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100, both have just had the worst months of the year. So this was as predicted at the beginning of September. September does have a history of being normally the worst year of trading in almost every year, and we can see the Nasdaq 100 was down 5.8%. The S&P 500 was down 4.9%. The Dow Jones was also down 3.5%. So not a great September there. So let's now move on to have a look at news from the SEC. So if we now have a look at the news with regard to the SEC, we can see what I posted earlier is that the SEC is charging 10 broker-dealers over record-keeping failures. We look forward to the SEC charging broker-dealers over irregularities in the record-keeping of MMTLP. So let's have a look at the details that the SEC shared. And we can see here the headline: SEC charges 10 firms with widespread record-keeping failures. So the combined penalties amount to a figure of approximately $79 million. So these include Interactive Brokers, who are paying approximately $35 million, Robert Baird $15 million, all the way down to fines of $8 million, $8.5 million and $2.5 million. So I'm sure that is certainly not a problem for the brokers to pay those fines. So let's now move on to have a look at news with regard to Nike. So this is something that we called in our weekly watch list, and what we stated that obviously earnings is due. It is down quite significantly, 23% on the year to date. And I believe Nike was also a good price for a longer term hold, especially with an earnings beat. So there was an earnings call for Nike this week, and it was a success. And we can see here the only miss was revenue, but revenue was still up 2% year on year, and we're looking at revenue of approximately $12.9 billion. Earning per share was a beat, and that came in at 94 cents. Direct sales were up 6.6 year on year, and we're looking at an increase there to 5.4 billion. So that's good. Inventory was down 10% year on year, and share repurchase of $1.1 billion. So I think the stock price did reflect this. I think overall the price went up close to 7% today. So congratulations to everybody who got in NKE. So in terms of an overall reminder of MMTLP this week, this has been a huge week, and we have had Congress ask questions to Gary Gensler with regard to MMTLP. This was covered in the previous video, but we also had breaking news covered in the previous video, where a letter here was shared from Mike Crapo and also J.D. Vance, US Senators, to Gary Gensler and the SEC, and they are hoping for a timely response. So please refer back to the previous video for coverage of this letters. But if we have a look at a follow-on from that meeting, shout out here to Crucial Mix, who states, "Oh crap, I just said the MMTLP share count is public record using my out loud voice." So I potentially do think that could be a slip up by Gary. And a headline from Frank Nez website here also states that Senate inquiries are now growing in the MMTLP scandal in the pursuit of answers. So hopefully that is true, and the momentum will continue. And we know that David Lauer, also we covered him in yesterday's video, he certainly seems to be a lot more positive on MMTLP and agrees that it is a problem that needs to be fixed. And in another post that he shared earlier today, he states there's another argument against share selling is how it increases the flow and therefore the supply of shares in the market. So that's a good point. That is also simple demand and supply, and by having increases in short selling, you are basically pushing the price down, which is not in the interest of the company, not in the interest of jobs, and from a government point of view, also not in the interest of generating tax revenue. So he states here, increasing supply will push the price down. There's not really an analogous way to decrease the supply of shares other than buybacks. So good point there from David. And he also goes on to say, we've got some good stuff coming out today. Some members of Congress might be bought and paid for, so strong words there from David, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't remind them who they work for. So they do work for the American public, and they do need to be reminded, and it is pleasing to see that some of the Congress members are speaking out and speaking out as best they can, but we certainly need more. And finally, let's finish off by having a look at news with regard to MMAT Metamaterials. So shout out here to Panasonic, who posted earlier today, Metamaterials and Panasonic Industry collaborate on next generation transparent conductive materials. So let's have a look at the press release from the company that was shared earlier today, and we can see here Metamaterials and Panasonic Industry collaborate on next generation transparent material and transparent conductive materials. So we can see here that this is an agreement between the two companies who have been jointly developing a strategic collaboration from design to mass production. So that's the interesting thing, to repeat, mass production. So that is something that hopefully will generate significant revenue. So the joint effort is expected to strengthen the supply of nanoweb films and accelerate the growth of the transparent conductive film industry, offering new applications for the automotive and consumer electronics sector. So good examples of diversification there, such as transparent film antennas, heaters, and also electromagnetic shielding. So huge amount of opportunities there. And further down in the press release, we can also see that in terms of the global market for transparent conductive films is projected to grow at approximately 9.2%, looking at an increase from 4.9 billion to 7.6 billion in 2025. So that is certainly very positive. The collaboration is also going to allow them to pool the collective know-how, setting new benchmarks for the industry. So I'm sure you're all aware of the number of patents that Metamaterials holds. So that should obviously put them in good stead for the future. And further down, we can see that the collaboration between Meta and Panasonic Industries combines the power of nanoweb, which obviously belongs to Metamaterials, with Panasonic's industry proprietary and scalable processes technology in transparent conductive films. So Panasonic are going to be the organization that will help drive forward revenue. So they have obviously that scalability potential in their business, and that's certainly what Metamaterials needs. And at the bottom we can see here the Panasonic Industry and Metamaterials will be showcasing the Panasonic Industry booth at CTEC 2023, Japan's leading comprehensive technology exhibition, and the date for your diary is October the 17th to 2023. The partners will demonstrate a microwave oven with transparent EMI shielding window. I do expect George Palikaros to be there, and we can also hope from this exhibition potentially could generate some more partners for the company, and tremendous news for the future as well. And finally, if you'd like to join us in our Discord where we have the $1 Million Challenge, we also have a weekly watch list as well as daily stock alerts, and we've called out stocks such as NKO, SLNO, BNOX well in advance of the increase that we saw this week. Details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.